Oh, then we're going to what we call the Special Disbursement Report. And we gave you all a sample of one as well, and we attached the receipt that goes with this here. And a special disbursement report form comes to you only at one time when you say, will you advance me $1,000 for travel to the field, or I need $500 for excess baggage, or I need 6 months advance rent. We will advance the funds to you, and we'll send you this form via email to your AGMD email address, where you'll open it up, print it off, and then start, after you spend your money, start keeping your receipts and detailing it. And you got 3 months from the month that we advance it. So if we send the money to you for March, you have till June 30th to report on these monies. So it gives you 3 months. Now, if you say, I need to pay 6 months in advance, and we give you $6,000, and you got to pay it the next day, well, it stands to reason that you surely have a receipt that after 3 months, we still don't have the SDR with the receipt that, I know you spent the money, you're still living there. They give you 3 months. There are circumstances where there may be some ongoing expenses, and there's a way that you can appeal to your regional director for a one-time extension on any SDR for a 2 months extension only. After that time, money must be returned. And most of you should be banking at AGCU, and if you need to return money, you email AGCU, world@agcu.org, and copy one of these girls and ask for whatever balance, if you didn't spend it all, to be returned to your AGWM account. And every Friday, AGCU transmits these monies back over to your accounts. So it only happens on Friday, but if you have that we sent you money and you didn't need it all, that's an easy way to return versus you trying to mail a check from on the field. The other way is, if you're not using it all, you can say, just deduct the small balance from my next paycheck. You keep the money and we deduct it out of the next month's allowance. So there's 2 options there. But the biggest thing I want you to be aware of is we're under guidelines of 3 months, and at that point, we're going to be nagging you to send that SDR in with receipts. I don't want to be a nag, because then when it gets to the 4-month thing, I'm required then to start deducting the funds from your allowances. And that's the last thing I want to do, because you're out there living on the edge maybe. But I have to follow my policy that's in my job. So I'm just giving you a little heads up. 3 months is your guideline. If you don't need the money or all of it at the time, you can return it. We'll advance it again when you need it. It isn't like it's not available for it again down the road. Sometimes those things happen. Say, I couldn't use it at this point. Just send it back. When you need it again, we'll advance it again. Just want you to be aware of that. We can just turn around and send it right out the next month. Sometimes that happens. Okay? A lot of people trying to get visas, they have to put money in their account to prove to the government, like $3,000 every month just to prove while they're trying to get the visa. And this goes on for 3-4 months, and we're just rolling money, and it's coming back and rolling it, just to prove to the government there's money in the government of that country, there's money in that account. So we're aware of the rolling thing of just dumping, and the money's coming back, and just keeping them happy. But I just want you to know there is a 3-month guideline on all advanced funds when you get an SDR, which is going to come to you via email. We only correspond with AGMD email address because they are secure. Everybody out here probably has a Gmail, Yahoo, any other email. You might write me on that, and I might write you back. But for the most part, I'm going to fall back to AGMD because it's just a secure one. And when you email your reports to us, you must use your secure AGMD email address. Some of you are in sensitive areas, going to have a sensitive. You're going to get the procedures for your sensitive area to email your reports in, and learn it well, because you do have that issue. That's the only way your reports will come through. The server will not accept any other email address except the sensitive and the AGMD email addresses. You might email it 20 times. You might even copy me, and I'll get it 20 times because my email is not going to kick it out. But I can't accept your report. It's got to go to a secure server. And a lot of people don't understand that, but that's proof. And see, we had to do that to prove to the IRS that that report was coming from you. We had to make a secure server so we could accept reports via email. That's the only reason why we did it. Otherwise, people were mailing from the field, and we would wait 3-4 months, and it would get lost in the mail. And the poor missionary, thank God, he kept copies. He'd have to mail it again. We'd wait sometimes years to get reports because they would come in shredded lettuce. So we did this so that we would be able to get them, but you must do it this way to keep IRS happy. And I won't get it anyway. It won't come to any of these girls. Don't even email them. It just bogs down our email accounts because we just have to delete them because we're not allowed to accept them that way, okay? Just want to give you a little heads up. We made the procedure possible, but you have to go through with it. Use the funds for what they're intended. There may be unique circumstances where we sent you travel to the field funds, and all of a sudden you had an urgent thing that you had to pay the rent to keep them being thrown out. Fine. Use it for that. Just let us know. You know, and then we'll just have to advance you more monies to obviously get you money for travel to the field. Those circumstances happen. You don't have to feel like, oh, no, I don't dare use this money. No, use it and tell us the circumstances so we'll fix and we'll actually get more money out to you, okay? If you're in the U.S., some of you might be U.S., SDRs, 60 days because you don't have the overseas issue. So you have 60 days to account. Plan ahead when you're asking for advances. Many people wait till the day before they're leaving to call when they knew a month ago they were leaving and they need a special check. And we do special checks all the time. It means that if you need money in your bank account tomorrow, I can get it there if it's at AGCU, or I could do a wire to your banking institution. But if you knew it a month ago and you waited till the day before to ask, that's not planning ahead. Because it's the time it takes away from us to do a special check is a lot more involved than if we can plan it with the month end and just then do a month end deposit directly into your bank. So plan ahead as much as you can. I know you're raising your budget and it gets to the point where boom, you raised it and you go out and you get your airfare. And that might be next week. You really can't help it then, can you? So you want to call as soon as possible and say, I'm leaving in 3 days or 4 days or whenever you were able to secure your airfare. So we'll work with you. We'll get the money in the bank so that you can go and purchase your tickets. We do have 801 Travel that will directly charge airfare expenses on your account so you don't have to get an advance trying to purchase tickets. I'm sure somebody, if it hasn't, will talk to you about that. But we do special checks. You're going to have emergencies. Know that and call us, email us, and put urgency in your subject line so we know to look at that email right away because we want to help you immediately. You're going to need money maybe that very day. We will help you. That's what finance is there for. We're not there to hurt you. We're there to help you so that you can do what you need to do while you're there. And you do not need to be worrying about money. And how am I going to get this money? We're there to help. Okay? Yeah, in the middle of the STR is the info. It's right in the middle here of all the stuff that is necessary for when you're reporting so that you can look at that really and know what you need to submit with these STRs. So we've put that right in there for easy reading. Light reading. Yeah, there you go, light reading. Okay, that way you can just say, hey, this looks interesting. Let me read this. Oh, I need original receipts. that kind of thing. Okay? Same way with AERs. If you're on the field, we need everything translated into the English, U.S. currency, what's the dollar amount that you're asking for reimbursement. If some of the stuff is missing, we might only apply part of the expenses to the SDR and ask you to give us better receipts or correctly documented receipts. That's an issue where if you didn't stamp on the receipt first before you scanned it and said, we might email you and say, please redo it again. You get in a rush or you just forget. Don't worry about it. We'll just contact you and help you to get it done right. And then if you don't use all the monies, you can either email AGCU or you can ask us to take the money out of your next allowance to finalize the SDR. So all funds are finished with this report, okay? Sign it and date it before you email it. And down at the bottom it says, do not reimburse or reimburse. Sometimes you spent more than what we actually sent you. So some people don't want reimbursement. So do check that reimbursement line there. My natural default is to reimburse. And yet some people do not want it, but it's nice to know that you want reimbursement. You can check it, sign it, and date it. You can't take this excess funds and say, I'm going to carry them over to another SDR. No, they must be all finalized within one report. It's not possible to transfer a balance to another SDR because you might get 3 or 4 at one shot for several amounts of money. Okay, this happens quite a lot. Someone's leaving for the field and they want me to put money in a bank account. I don't have a bank account. They never gave it to me. They never told us anything. And sometimes Janella and them get on the horn and start calling and I can't give you any money. And I can't even get a hold of you sometimes. I try calling and they're leaving the next day. We're emailing, we're calling, we're trying anything to reach you because you want to leave the next day, but I don't have a bank to put any money in. Please open up a bank account with AGCU unless you're going to have one that you want to use, but at least leave it with us with your routing, your name and address, your account number, so we can put it on your statement. So anytime we need to put money there, from this day forward, we can. We have a lot of people that they want to leave, but I can't give them any money, and it's happened a lot. So, I mean, you get forgetful, and so if you can take care of this before you leave, it'll really help. Of course, do not put any links to PayPal account on your website. Cannot claim any itineration expenses unless approved by district to itinerate. That's something between you and your district. Do not claim field expenses that are not on your budget. Fields have to last your entire, funds have to last. So you want to be aware when you raise your budget, and someone says, if you really, I'd like to spend $1,000 to go do that ministry, but your budget has been budgeted to make you last that entire 2 years. You're taking $1,000 out of this point way back here. Down the road, you're going to be $1,000 short. Know that you may not get, and you're on an ADP basis as designations permit. So if donations is what that really is, are not in your account, you could be $1,000 short personal allowance. So unless you raise additional monies over your budget, nitpicking or taking huge amounts at the front line could cost you big time at the end. You may have to come home early because you don't have money coming to you to stay on the field. So be aware of that. Passport charges, please ask for a receipt prior to purchasing. That's a tough thing to get. A lot of them they walk out without getting that.